Hello friends, welcome to the Indian Psychologist. I am Dr. Jitendra. In today's video, we are going to look at the world of news and why sometimes news is hazardous to your mental health. If you are somebody who was born in India over the past 3 decades, you would have constantly heard your teachers or your lecturers or the people around your family telling you to read newspapers, follow news channels, and you would have been praised for watching news channels or reading numerous newspapers by your friends and family. This idea that someone who reads news or watches news channels are more intellectual and are more likely to succeed has resulted in a market filled with news channels and newspapers. And people do take a lot of pride in reading newspapers and watching news channels. We all know that too much of anything is good for nothing. But how come we have convinced ourselves that a lot of news is better than little news? First, let's come to the topic of news. If you watch news channels, I'm not trying to put down any news channel here. They are just serving people what they need. So I'm not saying that all news channels are evil and they are trying to make us always tense and excited. No, I'm not trying to say that. All I'm trying to say is that people are consuming it and news channels are feeding them with whatever they would like to consume. What do you have in news channels or newspapers nowadays? You only have exciting things. Exciting things? What kind of exciting things? Positively exciting things. Oh, that's not their cup of tea, right? It's actually not the cup of tea of everybody else also, because we as humans are tuned in to look for negative news because they are going to hurt us, and something that is going to hurt us is much more important than something that is going to do us something good, because our human mind is trained in such a way that it is always in constant lookout for something negative happening to it in order to protect itself, survival of the fittest thing. So making use of this particular thing, what news channels have now done is that they are keeping all their audience at constant vigil. The more the frightening the news is, the better it is for the audience to cling to their chairs a little longer. Just browse any random news channel and you will find that they either talk about war or killing somebody or abuse or theft or a new disease. And if you really look at this, you will realize that there are certain news channels who do concentrate on some of the positive aspects of life as well. But strangely, they don't have any views. Why so? Because they are not keeping you in constant vigil. So the only purpose of us consuming news is the fact that we need to be vigilant and we should be watching out for something that's just around the corner which is going to hurt us. Now I would like to believe that something hurting us from out of the blue is better than waiting for it and never happening, because we don't live in a forest anymore. The chances of us getting killed by a random event is far less, but yet we are always on the constant lookout for something that is going to hurt us in a very bad way. Now if you go 30 years ago, you really did not have these many news channels, these many newspapers, these many YouTube channels covering news. And so the quality of the news was much more important than just keeping people in a constant vigil. But as more and more people started watching news, the demand gave rise to the supply, and nowadays what do you have? You really do not have news channels actually covering news that is going to be influential on the society, but they are just constantly looking out for attention-grabbing horrific incidents just to make you always be vigilant. It was true that 30 years ago, the only way for you to understand the world and what is happening around you is through the newspapers and news channels, but it's not so anymore. We have a lot more avenues, and more importantly, we don't need it 24/7. 15 minutes of news every day is good enough. If you just have a proper source, a source that you can trust, a 15 minutes per day is more than adequate for you to understand what's happening around the world. Gathering information endlessly just because you think that gathering more and more information is going to make your life more meaningful or more secured is just like having a machine gun and shooting at will and hoping you hit the target. A more focused target information source and a more focused approach towards what you are actually looking for will actually make your life more meaningful rather than endlessly scrolling through feeds or by endlessly switching channels, all the while thinking that it's actually better than watching some other entertainment shows or sports because you think that watching news somehow makes you feel more intellectual, while being completely ignorant of the fact that news is also another form of entertainment. If you would like to receive more videos like this, you can subscribe. If you have anything to say, you can comment. If you like this video, like it and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching this video and have a great time.